كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتذكر أولو الألباب.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome to another episode on our daily reflections on the Quran. And today, inshallah, we're covering Juzu 18th. Juzu 18th contains two surahs, Surah Al-Mu'minun and Sura An-Noor. And due to time limitation, I will focus only on Surah An-Noor. And Surah An-Noor is a Madani surah, and that's why there are some rules, ahkam, rules of decency, manners, social ethics revealed in this surah. And in this surah also, Allah described Himself as Allahu Nuru Samawati wal Ard. Allah is the light of the heavens and earth. And from this light, we have all light in our religion. When you study this Quran, it's a light. And this light is lightening the way ahead of us. And from this light for our hearts, light for our minds. And Allah in this surah also described the masajid, the mosques, as being the buyutullah, fi buyutin adina Allahu an turfa wa yudhkara fiha ismuh, as the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from the beginning of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started the surah by prohibiting the zina. And zina is fornication, having any sexual activities outside the marriage. It's called fornication. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described harsh punishment for it, that the male or female who commit this zina, they should be flagged as 100 lashes. And some people will say, this is something in Islam, this is something in Sharia law, it's very harsh. Yes, it is. And any illegal act we do, any sins we do, we humiliate ourselves. And any punishment is a kind of humiliation. What other punishment that we know here is throwing people in jail for years. What is the most dear value that people hold is their freedom. What is the worst that can happen to them? Losing their freedom. How that can happen? Being thrown into jails. This is the worst that can happen. That's worse than physical punishment. So in Islam, these punishments described are physical punishment, described two of them in this surah. Surah Zina, 100 lashes, and then false accusations, slandering people, accusing people of committing indecent activities. If you don't have a solid proof that you can bring with 4 witnesses, then to keep the society intact, you have to be punished by 80 lashes on your back. And as I said, what I think personally, this is better than throwing people in jail. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He knows us, He knows our nature. Whatever we say is physical punishment, inhumane or not inhumane, it's a perception. And I'd rather punish people physically by lashing them 100 lashes or 80 lashes than throwing them in jail for 2 years. And then what I'm doing, I'm punishing them. I'm punishing the society that have to feed them. I'm punishing their family, that they lose them, their kids, that they don't have father anymore to take care of them. I'm not punishing only one person. And that person might be genius, just happen to have sins. And his job will lose him. Lots of other sequences. Then in lashes, just being lashed and go. And here I'm going to stop also because the surah doesn't stop on that. This prohibited without any explanation, without any reasoning. No, in Islam, there should be a whole environment created to solve this problem. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, وَأَنْكِحُ الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ, that you should marry those who are single. Ayama means single. It's like encourage them to marry, help them, paying them money to marry. So you avoid zina. Zina because you don't want to have this mix up of lineage of people and become like animals committing zina without any restrictions. The restriction is marriage. And so we encourage to do marriage. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us, believing men and women, to lower our gaze. وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنْ. Say, tell the believer women to lower their gaze. Tell the believer men to lower their gaze. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered our sisters to cover with khimar. Khimar is the word used in Quran. Now we use the word hijab, but khimar is the cover that women cover themselves. So men don't be encouraged to like just go and look into them all the time. And so it's a whole system. It's just not punishment and that's it. It's building of ethics. And in the surah there are other ethics here for the society, the adab, the etiquettes of taking permission, even with the people who live with you in the same house, that the etiquettes of you don't go and to the rooms without taking permission first. And the most beautiful thing in the surah that Allah Nur al-Samawati wal-Ard. And since Allah is the Nur of Samawati wal-Ard, that every creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every creature around me here, they recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe we don't know how, but they do. And وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ, everything that makes tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminding us that the punishment is not only here in dunya, the worst punishment that would be in the hereafter. And we have to be very careful, brothers and sisters, of the other punishment. Even though here people can get away with things. That's why there's a hereafter where people cannot get away with anything that they do. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who read the Quran and reflect on it and on its meanings and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the end of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us, أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول, obey Allah and obey His Messenger. And Allah criticize other people who don't do that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we be among those who obey Allah and His Messenger. جزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.